Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with the dueling code of the Russian Empire. A duel can only be held between equals. A nobleman cannot refuse a duel. An insult to a nobleman's honor is personal. If the offended nobleman cannot defend his honor, he must seek revenge. If the offended nobleman is unable to defend his honor, another nobleman may stand in his place. Only the bold can avenge a nobleman's honor. Then, a man named Yakovlev is testing a pistol. He places both pistols on the ground, and calls for Prince Rain. Prince Rain arrives, selects a pistol, and calls Yakovlev. Rain mentions that a fortune teller told him he cannot die from a gunshot. He aims at Yakovlev and fires, but misses. Yakovlev then shoots Prince Rain, and the bullet hits, killing him. The duel ends. As Yakovlev is leaving, a man tells him, "I will give you a curse." Yakovlev responds, "I am already cursed." Next, Yakovlev is seen traveling in a horse-drawn carriage, with a German baron. Inside, the baron hands him a document. Moving on to Yakovlev sitting in a room, a man enters and informs him that Yakovlev has restored Kolachev's nobility. Later we see people working in the rain in a bustling market. Yakovlev and the German baron are in the market, where the baron hands Yakovlev a card. On the other side of town, a man examines old currency notes, a bullet, and some money. Yakovlev approaches him, and states that he needs 100,000 rubles. The next day, Prince Tuchkov and Martha Tuchkova arrive at a grand estate by carriage. They exchange pleasantries and enter, joining an open auction that aims to raise 10,000 rubles for an orphanage. The auction starts at 100 rubles. Count Beklemishev arrives, hands over money, and takes a bouquet from the auctioneer. Prince Basargin, noticing Beklemishev, starts a conversation, and accuses him of theft, claiming that despite having no money, Beklemishev is robbing him of 10,000 rubles. Basargin demands his money back, or threatens to take it in blood. Basargin then talks to Martha and Prince Tuchkov. During this, a man bumps into him, and introduces himself as Vasily Semyonov from the Volhynian Governorate. Basargin initially dismisses him, but Vasily persists. Martha interjects, telling Basargin that he should not duel with a cripple. Ignoring her, Basargin warns Vasily that if he refuses his challenge, he will kill him on the spot. He allows Vasily to have a proxy. Yakovlev steps forward, and agrees to be Vasily's proxy. Next, we see Yakovlev traveling in a horse-drawn carriage with a companion, discussing the upcoming duel. The companion mentions that Basargin has defeated 11 opponents in duels, and advises Yakovlev not to eat anything that might be magically tainted. Yakovlev dismisses the warning, stating that he does not believe in magic. The duel begins, and Yakovlev faces off against Basargin. After a tense and skillful exchange of shots, Yakovlev emerges victorious. Later, a man approaches Yakovlev, and hands him a special item, though its significance remains unclear. At night, lying drunk, he is visited by Vasily, who prays over him. Yakovlev tells him to stop. The next day, Yakovlev and Basargin duel again, and this time, Yakovlev wins but is shot, and faints in the carriage. He is taken home, where the bullet is removed. Moving to a beach, where Yakovlev lies injured on the shore. He is found and taken in by some people, who treat his wounds. When he regains consciousness, a man approaches him with a card. Suddenly, another man shoots the card holder, and attacks Yakovlev. Despite his injuries, Yakovlev manages to kill the attacker and his companions, reclaiming the card. He is inside a palace, where a doctor is removing a bullet and stitching his wound. As the procedure continues, society officers arrive. One officer recounts Yakovlev's history. Captain Yakovlev served on the Aleutian Islands, under Rear Admiral Marksudov. On his way to the garrison, he disappeared, and was recorded as deceased in the spring of 1855. However, he reported for duty that same year, explaining that he had been captured by Aleuts, held prisoner, and eventually escaped. Due to ill health following his imprisonment, he requested discharge, and moved abroad, where he lived until recently. The officers reveal that they have been trailing Yakovlev, because he arrived from St. Petersburg less than 4 months ago, and has since shot 5 people in duels. Yakovlev acknowledges his reputation, claiming he is a true duelist, while dismissing others as mere pretenders. He then issues an honor challenge to the officer, which is accepted by the officer's half-brother. In preparation for the duel, Yakovlev removes 5 bullets from a 6-shot revolver, leaving only 1 bullet. The duel begins, and the officer faces Yakovlev. The next day, the officer demands money from Yakovlev, in exchange for his silence. He hands Yakovlev a letter from his brother, which was found on the island, and warns that he has the right to inform the police about it. Yakovlev's brother then confronts him, asking for his real name. He reveals that he is actually Kolishev, having been using Yakovlev's identity. The brother expresses his belief that Kolishev had no role in his brother's death, but insists that if Kolishev is truly a nobleman, he will face punishment for his actions. Flashback to the German baron entering a house, followed by Kolishev. Kolishev confronts the baron, torturing him, pulling out his tooth, to extract information. The baron eventually reveals that he is Kolishev. Confused by the baron's admission, Kolishev presses further, and the baron corrects himself, saying his name is actually Count Beklemishev. We then see Beklemishev riding a bicycle. He sits next to Martha, and begins a conversation. Prince Tuchkov interrupts, wanting to discuss something privately with Beklemishev, and takes him aside. Tuchkov accuses him of seeking a new victim, and demands the truth. Beklemishev writes a name on a card, and places it on the table. Later at night, a woman makes Beklemishev promise that he will never harm Martha, and he reluctantly agrees. Tuchkov visits the German baron, with Kolishev also present. Suspicious that someone is eavesdropping, Tuchkov fires a shot, but finds no one. After he leaves, Kolishev emerges from hiding. At night, Tuchkov and the German baron are playing cards, when Kolishev arrives. Kolishev demands $10,000, brandishing his gun. Leprandi, standing nearby, points a gun at Kolishev. Unable to produce the money, Tuchkov hands over his watch and wallet instead. Kolishev challenges Tuchkov to a duel, and asks Leprandi to be his second. The German baron provides Kolishev with information about Tuchkov's family. Kolishev leaves the carriage, examines his gun, receives money, and departs. Martha meets Kolishev, and pleads with him not to duel her brother, warning that she will shoot him herself if he proceeds. Kolishev ignores her and leaves. Desperate, Martha goes to Beklemishev, offering him any amount of money to save her brother. He confesses his love for her, and recounts his life story. Moved, she agrees to marry him. The duel begins, but instead of shooting Tuchkov, Kolishev shoots Leprandi. Kolishev then pursues Beklemishev, but Beklemishev's society officer intervenes, pointing a gun at Kolishev. As Beklemishev begins to leave, Kolishev accuses him of ruining his family's reputation. Beklemishev dismisses him as nothing more than a killer, and walks away. At night, Beklemishev and Kolishev drink together. Beklemishev challenges Kolishev to a duel, but Kolishev dismisses him as unworthy, infuriating him, who tries to shoot. A man intervenes, stopping Beklemishev. A flashback reveals Beklemishev was responsible for Kolishev's removal from his position, leading to his imprisonment and banishment to the island by soldiers. The next day, Kolishev wakes up in a boat with Martha and Tuchkov. He shows Tuchkov a set of cards, explaining that Beklemishev had paid him to kill Kadarev, Stukenberg, Prince Rain, Basargin, and Tuchkov, who calls him a murderer. He then urges Tuchkov to duel with Beklemishev, and takes him to a German baron to learn shooting and killing skills. During a confrontation, Kolishev, angered by being called a murderer, attempts to shoot Tuchkov, but both guns are empty, and Tuchkov calls it a miracle. The German baron beats Kolishev, and Beklemishev arrives, threatening Kolishev, and extracting all necessary information from him, ordering him to fix everything. Kolishev, Tuchkov and Martha travel by carriage. Martha expresses her hatred for Kolishev, and her desire to shoot him. They reach their destination, where he is ambushed, and knocked unconscious. Tuchkov tries to intervene, but is also beaten unconscious. From a distance, the German baron and Beklemishev watch. As the attackers prepare to kill Kolishev, he awakens and fights back, killing them. He demands to know who sent them, and instead of naming Beklemishev, they name the German baron. He calls out to Beklemishev, saying he knows Beklemishev is watching, who, in response, kills the German baron and flees the scene. The next day, Tuchkov's lifeless body is discovered, with Martha standing sorrowfully beside him. She confronts Kolishev, expressing her hatred, and blaming him for involving Beklemishev. Desperate, she begs Kolishev to kill Beklemishev. Kolishev explains that he cannot kill Beklemishev, because he is not a nobleman, and his true name. Later, while sitting in a carriage, Kolishev recounts how Beklemishev insulted his beautiful mother, leading him to kill a man. Beklemishev reported the incident to the police, ruining his family. He urges her to abandon her quest for revenge. Overcome with emotions, he hugs her, and begins to cry, igniting feelings between them, and they share intimate moments together. He then instructs Vasily to count the money again. Meanwhile, Alexandra reads the cards and questions Martha about Yakovlev, but Martha denies knowing him. Alexandra leaves, and Beklemishev arrives, prompting Martha to declare that she knows he seeks revenge. Kolishev delivers all the money to the society officer, who questions why he is risking his nobility. Under torture, the officer reveals that Beklemishev has already informed the general about everything. Hearing this, Kolishev releases him. In the rain, Kolishev drinks heavily. Vasily finds him, and Kolishev instructs him to prepare weapons for their return to Wiesbaden. Vasily embraces Kolishev, crying and vowing that Kolishev, the last of his line, will return alive. Kolishev challenges Beklemishev to a duel. Alexandra objects, declaring it impossible. Yakovlev's brother arrives, publicly acknowledging Kolishev as his brother, and swearing to take his life. Beklemishev prepares for the duel, and fires his shot. Martha appears in a carriage, with Kolishev beside her. She asserts her independence, stating she is not a slave. The bullet, embedded in her chest, does nothing when Beklemishev fires. However, when Kolishev shoots Beklemishev, he dies instantly. Martha calls it a miracle, and both Kolishev and Martha laugh. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.